Hey everybody, you are on my channel. This is BookTube. Oh, I forgot to say the first part. My name is Margaret and you're on Taste Life Twice. I don't know, that should be my TV show or something. Hello, howdy do. This is BookTube today and we're going to do an original tag. So happy Tag Tuesday. And this one I'm titling The Name Game. We're going to be doing something I came up with inspired by Jim's books, reading and stuff, his alphabet tags. If you don't know, you should definitely check out Jim's channel. It's in the description. But what he has done is go through every letter of the alphabet and think about words that start with that letter and just ask questions about those words. And so I thought I would do the same with my name, at like an acrostic of my name. So that's my name game tag. And I'll explain more how you can do it if I've tagged you at the end. Hey, Anita. How are you doing today? Happy November 30th, last day of NaNoWriMo for all you writers out there. And yeah, I'm just going to get started. So, Margaret, my name starts with an M. I've got basically 2 words for each letter. The first word is mnemonic, which starts with an M. And I wanted to ask for an example of a mnemonic that you still have in your head. So for me, the first one that comes up is something I learned for high school science, which is kings play chess on fine green sand. Does anyone have that one still in their head kicking around? If you do, let me know what you remembered it for, because it's a good one. It's a good one. Kings play chess on fine green sand. I've heard a few variants, but that stuck in my head and that helped with tests. And if you're not there yet, KPCOFGS is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And so that's probably outdated now because I think I've looked it up and been wrong when I saw what people actually call things. But yeah, that was how I remembered the classification system for biology. Jim's here. Hey, Jim. Thanks for inspiring this tag. Richard of York gave battle in vain. I can't think of what that would pertain to. I'm going to guess that it's something specifically English, like a lineage or something you had to remember. Let us know in the comments. That's fun. So mnemonic is my first one. And another M I'm going to put up here is, what do you guys think of when you think of me and the letter M? Give us a hint. Give us a hint. Moss. So I brought this over here. This is usually on my windowsill. This is one of the things that I've made. It's a vase, but it's made up of all these like moss fragments and other green things that have dried that I pick up when I go out on walks and put in my pocket. And then they dry up, of course, because they come inside and out of the moisture of the Pacific Northwest. But I love moss so much. When I started doing this, when I started living here, I discovered that there's a hashtag on Twitter, Moss Fridays, Moss Friday Club, something like that. And for a while I was looking at moss pictures and just oohing and eyeing with people on the internet over moss. So that was fun. What is something random that you have bonded over? So that's the moss question for us today. Oh, I should have realized that. Roy G. Biv. Yeah. Richard of York gave battle in vain. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's good. That's a good one. And Anita can't think of any mnemonics, or she's managed to delete them from her consciousness, which brava. All right. But something random you've bonded over. If not moss, perhaps something else like traffic school or I don't know, hatred of helicopters flying right over your house. I don't know if anyone could hear that. Okay, so that's M and M. We're off to a rousing start. We're going to move on to A. My first A is favorite accent. So for this one, It can be your own. It can be anywhere else in the world. But I thought I would take some examples from, I was looking for theater, but I couldn't find this. So basically, I'm looking at examples.yourdictionary.com. And it's someone who's written an essay on accents in literature, and how they are basically transliterated or how they're represented in writing, which is different. But so I thought I'd give you a taste, a few of my favorite accents. And this is, well, I'll let you guess which one this is from. I'm going to do 3 here, so this is just the first one. Oh, he's your son, is he? Well, if you done your duty, bums and mother should. He'd now better in a sprawl of Gaels flowers than ran away back paying. Will you pay me for them? Ooh, that got a little northern at the end. Will you pay me for them? There we go. That's back to Cockney. So that is some funny spelling. I don't know if it comes in backwards. No, it comes in forwards. Some funny spelling that George Bernard Shaw did to get to Eliza Doolittle's accent in Pygmalion. So I thought I'd represent that. The next accent I really loved, and I loved this book when I read it. I think it's the right book. Wait, did I pass it? This site has a lot of ones. There we go. It is. Okay, so that is the first one. The second one, I'll let you guess again, because if you've read this, you probably recognize the character names. Jim's saying, I love the sound of Portuguese. I don't understand it, but it sounds lovely. Me too. I find Portuguese really hard to recognize for some reason. I always think it sounds Russian because of all that ZH sounds. Yeah. Oh, and Anita's going to like this one then, if I do it any justice anyway. There's a knock at the door, Mr. McAdory. Oh, Malachy, for God's sake, it's 3 a.m. You have the whole house woke with the singing. Oh, Dan, I'm only teaching the boys to die for Ireland. You can teach them to die for Ireland in the daytime, Malachy. 'Tis urgent, Dan, 'tis urgent. I know, Malachy, but they're only children, babies. You go to bed now like a decent man. Any guesses? Any guesses where that one's from? And again, it's going into points about the word choice and how they... Oh, we got very specific here. I don't know. Yes. Yeah, he's got it. It's Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. A great book, and that's the Irish accent, Western Ireland. I guess I'm going to go with Limerick because I think Jim knows his stuff. I was going to say by Cork, but Limerick is close, so close enough. There we go. And let's see, last one. I have not read this book that is used as an example, but I'm going to try to attempt it because I've seen a lot of other sources for this region. Here we go. Go on, some wise guy that I never seen before pipes up. What you talking about, he says. Oh, he was wise, you know. The guy's crazy. I'll tell you what you do, he says to the big guy. You change to the West End line at 26th, he tells him. Get off at New Trek and 16th Avenue, he says. Walk 2 blocks over, 4 blocks up, he says, and you'll be right there. Oh, a wise guy, you know. So where is that from? Who can guess what I was trying to do there? Oh, that's right. That's right. And Jim is reminding me that Frank McCourt's father was from Northern Ireland. Well, I did get a smidgen of something in there with one of those words. So, but that one was from a 1935 short story called Only the Dead Know Brooklyn by Thomas Wolfe. And that was my attempt at a Brooklyn accent, helped along by it's not transliteration because that's from another language, but whatever it's called when you spell out how something is phonetically spelled out words. So I love accents. Those are a few of my favorites. Of course, I haven't done the Scottish one, which is near and dear to my heart, but I'm way out of practice on that one. So I didn't want to embarrass myself. But feel free to put in your favorite accent. Nope. That's not Chicago. Anita's got it. It's New York. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Shannon, welcome. We're going through my name as an acrostic and just bringing up words that I love associated with those letters. We're only on the first A with accent. So we're going to move right along to annual. And the question for this one is a Latin accent? Latin doesn't have an accent because it's not a spoken language. You're going to have to specify which Latin speaking country you're referring to there, Shannon. Something you do annually. So for me, and since my voice started going dry, of course, right before I was going to do something with my voice, just a moment. So something I do annually is usually get together with people for pagan year celebrations and Hispanic accent. Well, those can be very different, but I mean, so can New York's, I guess. So there we go. Cool. And let me get my lyrics up here. Oh. So one of these pagan year celebrations has to do with the new year. And so sometimes I'd sing this at Samhain in October, and sometimes I sing this at solstice in December, which is just around the corner now. But because I will be down in California and probably not with those people that I celebrate with, I will sing this here so you can have it on film, for whenever you may want to celebrate it. And that is singing the song called The Parting Glass. It's a folk song, but I really love the version by the Wailing Jennies, which is a folk trio from Canada. And yeah, they've been on my Pandora channels forever. So if you know them, chip in and tell me you love them. But this is a song called The Parting Glass, and I'll just sing the first verse now. Of all the money that e'er I spent it in good company. And all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Basically, this is the parting glass, last drink before you part and leave as friends. And so that's a great thing to do for the new year because I don't know, I guess it relates to like libations and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that is an annual tradition chez Margaret. So I'd love to share that with everybody because I love that song. Okay, so accents and annual. We're on to the R. And my voice today. And the whole past week. R. What's Margaret going to go for her first R? Favorite romance. Okay, so the last 3 books I've finished have actually been romances, but they're not the best quality. So I'm going to go back to a favorite, which is, can anybody guess? Sunshine by Robin McKinley. But I wanted to say why this is my favorite romance. So the 2 characters, it's an enemies to lovers trope, and they have to ally to outwit a common enemy. That is the thing, right? But what makes it so irresistible and so not relatable, obviously it's in a fantasy world, but endearing is that you're in the woman's point of view and she has this incredible internal monologue that you get to hear. And it's rambly and it's self-justifying and it's humorous, so humorous. And it just feels like something that you would really just tell your best friend, like, or, not even that. It's just so personal. And so you get in this fantasy world, but you're like, she's so relatable. She's so human. And that she draws on all these reserves of courage and curiosity and non-judgmentalness and standing up for what's right. And so you're just like, yes, we love We love sunshine. We stand sunshine. Shannon's catching up. Annual task, pull the refrigerator and stove out to clean behind them. That's good. I think you're ahead of like 85% of the population, at least. At least. So good job. All right, so that's romance. The next one I have is ruckus. Ruckus. I like that word. So I thought I'd bring it in here. A ruckus, for those who aren't familiar with the term, uproar, disturbance, commotion, and it has existed since 1890 in American English, possibly a blend of ruction and rumpus. So there you go. There's the origin. I love the origin of expressions. And I was going to ask for a memory of a ruckus that you've had in your life or an example of a ruckus in history. And so I first thought of like the biggest crowd I was in, but it wasn't a ruckus. It was just a crush, as a Regency author might tell you. And that was the inauguration in 2009. And that was pretty cool. That was the first time I heard the word Jumbotron. But a ruckus, which is like a disturbance, a commotion, disorderly dispute. It makes me think of Peterloo. So if anyone knows what Peterloo is, it's something that I want to write about, but I know there's been a couple historical fiction accounts of this, and so I don't know what my angle would be that would be different. But in case you don't know what the Peterloo Massacre was, it took place at St. Peter's Field in Manchester, Lancashire, England. Not sure why they had that ordered that way. On August 16th, 1819. 18 people died when cavalry charged into a crowd of around 60,000 people who had gathered to demand the reform of parliamentary representation. So you had people looking to participate in the democratic process, and they were charged by cavalry well, that is part of the historical intrigue, is that what made it happen. There's plenty of examples of things like this happening. Catching up here, Shannon doesn't have a romance one. Shannon says, every football season, my husband's shaking the house with his cheers and clapping. He's a big guy and really scares the cats and shakes the couch. Oh, that's a good ruckus story. That's a good one. Jim's coming in with the same one I used, Peterloo, when they shot the protesters in Manchester. The ones that I've been investigating include the 1886 Haymarket riot, in which anarchists were hanged immediately after, and some were pardoned by the governor of Illinois. The 1890 massacre at Wounded Knee, which is, I believe, the largest, what did they just say in the audiobook I was listening to? The largest gun violence in the history of America, basically, shooting of unarmed people. And then we've got 1892, the Homestead riot, which was in Pennsylvania on another protest where people were killed. And then 1894, the Pullman riot. So yeah, there's lots of interesting examples in history of ruckuses being caused, some for good ends, some for ill. Anita weighing in saying lots of holiday ruckus memories for me. And of course, we could also call January 6th, 2020, 2021, a ruckus, because another word for ruckus is insurrection. There we go. We got there. So that's the first R. And then moving on to G. What do you think of G? What am I going to use for G? Gaelic. Have you been anywhere? Gaelic is spoken, and I will accept answers of Gaelic, Gaelic, Guadelica, which is any of the languages related to Gaelic. And I just thought I would show you what Gaelic looks like. Okay, so this is my really cool songbook, but this is the introduction. This is a bit of the landscape on Islay, which is an island in Scotland. And let's see. All right. Sauna nila, 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 sauna nila, ruka gami, sauna nila, 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 sauna nila, voyoch. Voyoch. Yeah, you wouldn't think that would be how you pronounce it, right? Let's try this one. Let's get the light right here first. There we go. Sauna nila voiach a ruchig mi a chokak mi. Sauna nila voiach a ruchig mi savami. And it basically just means Isla is where I was born and raised, and the green grass grows there. The sedge and the yeah, and they've even got ruins in the picture. So yeah, it gets me right here. It really does. But that is my songbook from Isla, as we say in English, and I studied Gaelic with friends for a couple years here in Portland, and didn't get very far because it wasn't an intensive, but it was really fun. I made really good friends. I got a little bit of familiarity with the language so that I can repeat what I hear when I read it, but not as much as I would like, of course. Oh boy. Jim says, my wife was in the protest in Tbilisi in April 1989 when Russian soldiers killed 30 of the protesters. Oh my God. Yeah. I haven't been anything in like that. Serious. Haven't been anywhere with spoken Gaelic, but I really want to visit Ireland and Scotland. Yes. Jim says, I've been to Donegal and Sligo. I think that's how you say it. I haven't been to Sligo, so I don't know. Correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anita says, I've been to the Gaelic College in St. Anne's in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Beautiful country. Yeah, that's cool. It's one of the places outside of its original place where it's still spoken because people are so careful to safeguard their heritage, which is nice. Jim says, I'm more familiar with spoken Welsh, lived 5 years in Wales. Don't tell me Aberystwyth. Did I say it right? I know I've heard you say it several times, but it's been a while. So, and then Shannon saying, I've been on my YouTube channel speaking Gaelic, reading parts of my book. Oh my gosh, which my mom just told me sounds very boring. Boring by reading, not the Gaelic. Oh no. Oh, well, I'm sure it would not be boring to me because I'd be trying to figure out what you were saying and having, 99% no hope, whatever. I could probably pick out the he and the was and the green and the bread, and that's about it at this point. But I've got great memories of hearing Gaelic and studying it and listening to it being sung from my travels to Ireland and Scotland. And yeah, would love to hear that again. The next G is gamification. So the interesting thing is that I've chosen Gaelic, which is sort of turning away from most of the world because it's such a niche subject. And gamification, I feel like, is one of those things where I'm facing toward the world and engaging with it and grappling with an issue of today. So that's my dark shadow side and my light sun side. There you go. Gamification, if anyone hasn't heard this term, it's is it a marketing term? It's a psychology term, I think, that is used in marketing, meaning that if you're trying to engage with a customer, for example, you turn something into a game. So that can be a teacher and a student trying to get something material learned, and that means that you try to make it into a game, like being up at the board and having a guessing game, right? So you're up at the board, you write a thing, and then the next person who guesses it goes up, that kind of thing. But more recently, and not in the teaching English world, gamification means, what does it mean? There's apps that do this, like you're trying to get points for something. Maybe Words with Friends is a good example. You're learning to spell. But I feel like there's a dark side to this, and so I resist. I don't do phone games, and yeah, so drop your opinions on gamification, or if you want to expand the definition of what I've just sort of nosed about. Jim says, Aberystwyth. You missed Aberystwyth? Aberystwyth. I missed the third syllable. Thank you. Aberystwyth. There's a lot of letters in that word. Shannon saying, interesting concept. I gamified my college English classroom. It engaged students who hadn't been engaged before, but turned off others who didn't like the added pressure of winning. Oh, very good point. So if you get turned off, if you get alienated by competition that is a problem. Yeah. Very good point. So gamification. I liked that. And if you haven't seen, I just did a top 10 audiobook nonfiction recommendations. On that video, I'm talking a lot about current issues and topics, and often people who talk about them and relate them to their own personal experiences. So I feel like gamification is one of those things I've heard through nonfiction books like those. So this is like one of my mind's whirring on current issues kind of things. So if you don't like that, you can just toss it. Jim says he uses lots of games in English teaching. Yes, I remember it well. Faux show. Okay, we're off the G. We're on to the next A, which is, I'm going to go with archetypes. Alex, what is an archetype system you appreciate? And for here, I have lots of tarot cards and oracle cards. I've used these in different contexts at those pagan celebrations for sure, at family gatherings with my niece and sister once, and that was fun. It's just like a very soft way to get people to think about things. So if they're not into things that are more publicized, like astrology or crystals or dowsing or lots of other things that seem too weird, tarot cards seem like a fun game almost that just make you think a little bit about how you're perceiving things and maybe why you're treating or perceiving things that way. So we'll leave it at that. I enjoy a good tarot chat. Chandra Arthur is an author tuber who does tarot readings on Tuesdays on YouTube, and I've participated in a few of those, and they get really good. Like people's chat and comments and sort of group chat about things can be really illuminating, let us say. So yeah, archetype system you appreciate if you have one to contribute that I named or that I didn't name. And then the next A is going to be assumptions about me. And you see there's a little upside down smiley. So I was just going to do a quick 2 truths and a lie for anyone. Number 1, I acted in a play during high school. Number 2, I played an instrument during high school. Number 3, I played sports during high school. Which one's the lie? There we go. So this is just like a fun icebreaker, assumptions about me. And I was just going to stop to say the way I'm going to do this tag is that people can either do these prompts with these letters and give their own answers, or they can make up their own tags with their names and words that they like that begin with their letters of their name. So we're somewhere in between. I'm open. You'll see. All right, so Shannon says personality types, the Myers-Briggs something. Someone told me this recently and it just did not stick, so sorry for that. But that's fun. I know a lot of people think that's a lot of people are familiar with that, I should say. Number 2 is the lie. Jim thinks I didn't play an instrument. All right. Shannon says, doesn't think I played sports in high school. Anita also says sports. It's a good assumption thing. How's that for suspense? Jim is the only one with the correct answer. I didn't play an instrument. I played a piano in like 5th grade and then sort of left it behind. But I did play sports. I played soccer and volleyball and softball, and I think that's it. But 3 is pretty good. 3 is pretty good. Yeah. So feel free to do your own 2 truths and a lie and make it as scandalous as you please when you're tagged. So Marga, we're back to an R, and we're on repetition, routine, and ritual. So these may be pretty close for you. They're definitely different things to me. What is a thing that you repeat, a ritual that you have, or something that has become routine? So répétition actually means rehearsal in French, fun fact. But repetition, I would say Doing the dishes is something that I repeat. It's not at a specific time. It's only when it's needed, but it's pretty frequent. Routine. What has become routine? Checking social media at any opportunity, it seems like. And routine is sort of a bad word with me. So that's where, my thoughts are with social media at this point. And ritual. What do I have that might be a ritual? I don't know. This is a hard one. Bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum. So Anita says her morning coffee. You don't say. Yeah, I'm going to go with tea for ritual because it happens many times a day. It's always at the same place. It's like the first thing I reach for, and it does something to my brain because of the caffeine. So that's definitely a ritual. I don't know if you can hear that rip, rip, ripping. That is my cat at the rope stick thing that he likes to grind his claws on. Shannon saying repetition, check email, routine, go to the gym, ritual, bedtime, quiet, downtime. I like that. Repetition, routine, ritual. That's good. That sounds very healthy. well done. Jim saying, I say the Lord's Prayer in Georgian at breakfast every day. I don't know what I'm saying while I'm saying it. I've learned it by rote. Oh, interesting. So that sounds like it's something you've repeated and now it's routine. But does it have an effect on you like a ritual would? That is the interesting question I have for you. So yeah, that's a good one. I like this. The other thing that has become a routine is that I attach tasks to numbered days of the month. I don't know if anyone else does this, but like the 1st is the day that I check my sales on all my platforms. The 10th is the day that I remember I have to like back up my computer. And the 25th is like the day for bills. So for whatever reason, like I've clicked this in and it's sort of like effectiveness habits or productivity habits or something. So I don't know if that works for anyone else, but that's one of the weird things that I do. So yeah. The other R I have for this one is a controversial one. Is Rhysand a hero? So this is just me throwing a little silly stuff in, but also could be literary. So Rhysand is a character in the Akatar series by Sarah J. Maas. Do you have an opinion? Does Bean have an opinion? Does that sound like a yes or a no to you? It sounds like a yes to me, actually. Yeah, so Rhysand is a character, and I didn't want to ruin the twist for anybody, but his main character trait is self-denial. I don't know if that's like a prerequisite for a hero or like enough of a quality to make a hero, like a sufficient characteristic, but I'm interested in your opinion. So if you've read it or, just have thoughts on this theme, let me know. Tell me if you agree with Bean and me. Shannon saying the 1st is always check the bills. Okay, all right. And she hasn't read the series yet. Okay, well, I will leave it at that then. I've just gotten into a rut of checking TikToks with Akatar memes, so I'm just laughing a lot of the commentary. So that's why this has come in at this point, if anyone is joining. Jim saying he hasn't read any Sarah J. Maas, but he just read his first V.E. Schwab book, A Darker Shade of Magic. Ooh, what did you think? I have been surprised by people who did not like this series. I thought it was pretty all around compelling, but I guess I don't understand the people who don't like it. So I wonder if you like it. I am a big fan of Add Some. I blaze through those. I should probably read them again, but yeah, V.E. Schwab. So there's Rhysand for you, Margar, and now we're on to E, an esoteric fact from one of your passions. One of the things I learned recently having to do with E's, so this is my second E that goes along with the first, is an M. EM. What is an M? An M is a unit of measurement in letterpress printing that is the width of an M. What is a 3 to the M? It is a unit of measurement in letterpress printing that is a third the width of an M, a lowercase m. And that is math I can do, ladies and gentlemen. So I understood that system and I thought it was kind of cool. So an M and a 3 to the M. There's also a 2 to the M. There's also, which is half of an M, which is an N, but they don't call it that. So anyway, esoteric facts for you today, which is just fun. Jim's saying, it was a 4-star book for me. Thought the world building could be better. There are 2 more books, and you do learn more about the world system. I will just say that. M's and N's. Yes. And this has nothing. Does it have nothing to do with the M dash? No, I think it's related. I think an M dash has to be the length of an M. That's why it's called that. See? Isn't that interesting? Someone's commenting that is not that interesting. He does not have the same passions that I do. His passions are for fish flakes from Japan. Yes, see Shannon's, yeah, there we go. The M dash, which is the width of a lowercase m, and an N dash, which is the width of a lowercase n. See, we're all in the same esoteric niche. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. We have some stuff going on. We're almost done. We're at the margara. So what do we have left? The tea. So what do I have for tea? I have, Jim says, Katie, books and things likes M dashes. I like M dashes too. I use them all the time in my writing and in note taking and stuff. So I love it. T is for terrestrial, but I'm going to go rogue and say, what is your favorite story in space? Not terrestrial. Favorite story in space. And I'm going to go with A Memory Called Empire. And I'm going to pop the card up here that talks about our discussion. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to... He obviously wants to be the star today, so why not? Why not, Bean? Why not? A Memory Called Empire is a recent, I think it's like 4 years old, a recent science fiction novel that is about an ambassador who is underprepared, who fills in for her previous counterpart. And you learn about her culture as well as the culture of the court to which she is headed, and the political machinations and the world that involves an empire and a colony. And it's got a lot of commentary on our world, as space operas tend to do. And it's great. So I really love that. Oh, we've got some answers here. Anita says, Dune is her favorite story set in space. Excellent. Shannon says, Ender's Game. Always a good story. I read this in high school for a class and I loved it, and sort of went off Orson Scott Card later because of his views, but very, very good story. So like gut-wrenching, that ending. Love it. RK Stumbling Bear is here, and they're saying Space Cadet by Robert Heinlein. And I haven't read him yet, but I think Jim might have commentary on that. That's a big author. I remember the name for sure from when I sold books. Thank you for coming in. Jim saying, in this year's reading, it's Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. Excellent. I've heard great things about Binti. JD Estrada here and saying, hey. I don't see a Fat Albert, but I do see a very starstruck Bean Cat. So we'll go with that. This guy. And he agrees with Anita on Set in Space. Dune. Okay. All right. Have you read the book, or are you talking about the movie? Because I haven't read the book. I've only seen little bits of the earlier version of the movie. So I don't know. I'm not that intrigued. My friend Steph at Coffee Over Apples had a full-on, I don't even remember, it's a 45-minute long rant video about all the things wrong with it. And honestly, it sounds pretty aligned with my views. So I don't know that I'll ever be reading that book. Oh, okay. So you read the 6 books by Frank Herbert. All right. Read the book. Yeah, I don't know. Shannon says, I tried the book so dry with so much politics. Well, there's politics and then there's commentary on politics. I don't know. I think here's my take. The earlier version of the movie was so removed from the political context that I understand because it was filmed during the Cold War that I don't think I understood what they were trying to say. But someone on YouTube, help me if you remember me mentioning this before, pointed out that it was made in a different time than the current Dune. And so the same story is commenting on vastly different things. It's one of the non-booktubers, I think, that was commenting on this. Anyway, and so you get something completely different in terms of message from the movies. And I thought that was really interesting. JD says the first 2 books are stellar, as well as number 4. I don't know if that helps me. RK Stumbling Bear saying I loved her rant video. Yeah, Steph was in her element for that one. So definitely appreciated it. I don't know. Maybe I should read Dune to be able to compare to A Memory Called Empire because similar intent, maybe. But I feel like Dune is so much longer and so much drier. But I'm getting recommendations to read it, so maybe I should. Shannon says, I was a kid when I tried to read the book. So much of the politics went over my head. Yeah. Dune and Dune Messiah. Could be a bit dry, though feels really real. Okay. I'll try to find a copy next year. I'm sure lots of people will be tossing it after they've watched the movie and don't succeed with reading the book. I'm sure the supply will be up starting next year. So yeah. Okay, so that's my terrestrial prompt. And then my other T, my final prompt is T for try. And no, I like the song by Pink, but that's not what this is about. This is going to be about the lyric that this inspired. Let me change this. Someone who tries. This is a lyric from Hadestown the musical, and I'm asking for your best tragic hero. So Hadestown is about a sort of modern retelling of not Hades and Persephone, although they're in it. Why am I blanking on his name? The boy with the lyre and Eurydice. Anyway, I was just talking about this with my friend Brianna. She has gotten to see the musical and I have not. I've only listened to it. Best tragic hero. I'm going to go with, I went through my story graph and I'm going to go with several tragic heroes from Greenwood by Michael Christie. I picked up this book based on Kim from Middle of the Book March's recommendation. And I would say that there are several tragic heroes in Greenwood because the author does a really good job in multiple settings, in multiple points of view of humanizing people who have very troubling pasts, very problematic choices that they've made. And so it makes it a really interesting book, as well as a very well-crafted structure and beautiful language. So we read this for the Patreon book club 4 months ago, somewhere in there. And liked it. There are definitely slower parts and, POVs you may not get along with as well, but I just kept thinking about it. And so it sort of bumped itself up in its rating in my head. So yeah. Okay. Jim says, Abby Salter got lots of hate for criticizing Dune. I don't know who Abby Salter is. Anita asks, am I the only one who doesn't find Dune dry? JD says, I think it'll be spot on. I think that's for about finding my copy. Everyone says it, Anita. I find it great. Yeah, so Anita and JD are in a minority of 2 in this audience anyway. Great. Tragic hero. Hero Hua from the Bloodsword comics, just to offer an answer no one would give. We like that as the queen of books no one's heard of. We love a book that is esoteric to the max. Love it. Tragic hero. Jim is ringing in with Jay Gatsby, a classic choice. We've got JD suggesting the Baudelaire Orphans in series on the Baudelaire Orphans in a series of unfortunate events. They're great as well. Tragic heroes. Okay. I haven't read any of that series. And in movies, Randy Robinson from The Wrestler. Okay. Shannon suggesting Sartoris in Banebreaker by Jacqueline Carey. Wow. Okay. I haven't read Jacqueline Carey, but I think she's one I need to. And did Abby get salty? But I'm bumped. Abby Salter. That would be. No, I don't know what that would be. I was trying to make another joke and it's not going to work. Yeah, Tragic Hero. So yeah, that's my Greenwood is my choice. And one moment, stand by. I know Abby is the name of Jim's beagle. Abby Salter is a booktuber who mostly looks at fantasy. Okay. I've been looking at a lot of recommended channels lately and finding that a lot of them focus on fantasy or on horror. And I don't know. I do read fantasy. I don't read horror, but I don't know. I like channels that read like several things so that you can like bounce off and have different thoughts about stuff. That is just my preference. Sartoris is the dark god who made races that the other gods thought were ugly, but he defends them while his brothers and sisters beat him down for bringing ugliness into the world. Oof, oof. And he's a tragic hero. I would believe that. Booktube is odd. Some people have a knack for activating the troll brigade. Huh. I don't know what that's in reference to. Is that about Abby Salter or about the ugliness in the world? I don't know. So that is all my prompts. And like I said, the secret to this is either going with my name and responding to these prompts so that you stay in the same theme and answer the questions that I posed as these lovely people have today, or making up your own prompts with the letters of your name. So Jim, that might be hard because you've gone through a lot of letters. So permission to use mine. But who did I tag for this? I'll read them out and they're in the description below. You should definitely check out their channels. Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff is at the top. Jackie Reads and Writes, Courtney Ferreter, Rainier Books, Marilyn Maya Mendoza, and Bethann Bruninga Sokolar, because I thought they would have fun with some of these challenging questions. So I've popped them in and hope they enjoy making up prompts and going with their love of words, or having fun with the ones that I've set down today, especially all of them. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Sartoris sounds super compelling. Hell of a sell. They mentioned Abby got hate. Okay. I know some people who always find themselves in a poop storm, and JD largely avoids it because he's the man. He's not the godfather because that's Joe Compton, but apparently he's the man. So that's what we have for today. What do I usually do at the end? Thank you for coming. It's Tuesday. Enjoy your Tag Tuesday. It is November 30th. Good luck to any nanowers finishing up their 50K. It is December 1st tomorrow, so I'll be checking book sales and checking Patreon because it's going to be a new Patreon month. Oh, so I'll just sign out with that then. We've got our book pick for December. If anyone is interested in reading The Library Book by Susan Orlean, we're discussing it on December 19th. So if you're fast, you've still got time to join in. It's an $8 level, and that's on Patreon. So there you go. There's the link, and it's always in my description as well if you want to join Patreon. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Happy beginning of the holiday month. And yeah, that's it for today.